goes live in 2 minutes. Lynn Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Well, hello there and welcome to the program. Even the weather has cooperated. It's a sunny day to get out and vote in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. April 26th, 2016. And a presidential primary campaign like none we've ever seen. And we had bemoaned the fact months ago that we would not have an opportunity to have an impact because the Pennsylvania primary is so late in the game. And as it turns out, even the late primaries can have an impact, and we certainly can. So in that regard, it's good. It is Tuesday. My sister usually joins us, but she is under the weather. And so we'll soldier on sans souse. Speaking of, if you have any voting stories, let me know. I was listening to a Gab station on the way in, and they're reporting really long lines in Republican Trump country, like Wexford and stuff like that. People can't wait to get out and vote for Trump. I don't know if any of you have had any, stories to report about anything strange at the polls. I have not voted yet. I just want to point something out that I've always wondered about, and it's very obvious in today's front page of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. It is a picture. They have a picture of all of the folks who are hoping to be president of the United States. And what's weird is the choice of pictures. I've always wondered about this. You know, you got to figure the PG has 1 million photos of these people. And they're coming in on a daily basis just from whatever the events are that day. So if you're going to... Here's what... I'll just get to the point. Hillary Clinton and John Kasich, those two pictures, are, if not flattering, they're at least... They both look presidential. They're both gesturing sort of like this. They're both obviously speaking, and they look you get a sense of, yes, I can see where that person could be the president. I can see where that person could be the president. Fine. It's the other three pictures, Sanders, Trump, and Cruz, that if I were any of them, I would take issue. Bernie's picture, he's hanging onto a podium, and he looks grim. He's not speaking. He doesn't look forceful. He's hanging onto a podium, and his mouth is like the straight line. So he looks not good. And the feeling you get from that picture is he's hanging on for dear life. Now, is that when the person who is the photo editor, when they pick that picture, is that what they're thinking? Let's do a metaphoric kind of a thing here. Bernie's hanging on for dear life. I don't think so. I've always wondered. Then you got Trump's picture. Oy. I mean, this is so unflattering, it's beyond belief. It's like... Okay, did you see it? His hands are up in a New York kind of a gesture. His eyes are closed. His strange little mouth is sort of open in this strange sort of slightly disgusting manner. He looks awful. If I were Trump, I'd be furious. You show Kasich, you show Clinton, and you show Trump. My I don't think papers should do that. I think on the day of the election, all pictures of all candidates should be very sort of straightforward pictures because there's editorial screwing around going on here. Trump looks like a clown. Sanders looks like he's hanging on for dear life. And Cruz looks like this. Sly. He looks sly. I'm not kidding. You look for yourself and see if you don't agree. And so I wonder, does the person who picks these pictures show his or her biases? Are they having a little fun? Or what would be the professional way to do the pictures on, if you're a neutral news operation, to have equally flattering or straightforward pictures of all candidates would be the right thing to do. I've always not liked what papers do. I mean, who do they think they're kidding? I've had papers do it to me, too. When there are a number of pictures you can take that you can pick from, and you pick one that is just totally unappealing. It's not a nice thing. And it just bugs me. So, fine. I got bugged by the front page. Right off the bat. Got a lot of crazy little things here I want. Oh, speaking of Kasich and the whole bunch. The New York Times did a really, I found it, fascinating story about John Kasich's brother, who lives here, says he lives near CMU. They have a picture of him. He looks... What's funny is he looks like Kasich. I mean, they're brothers. He looks like John Kasich if John Kasich were wearing a fall that went down to about mid-torso. So blonde or gray hair like this, wearing a pirate hat, sunglasses, and a Roethlisberger t-shirt. I mean, this is a picture of a yinzer. You can't see it, can you? Can you? He's got long hair. And the face looks exactly like his brother. This, it turns out, is Rick Kasich, I believe. Is that his name? Yeah. And he's younger, not by much, maybe 4 years. And he has suffered with mental illness issues much of his adult life. And it sounds from the article that it was mostly bipolar with depression stuff mixed in. So, he's had a struggle, this guy. And the story, though, is that they don't like each other. He doesn't like his brother. His brother doesn't like him. They do not. I mean, I come from a close family, so this always blows my mind. And as so often happens, the fissure came upon the death in a car accident, deaths of their parents. Their parents were pulling out of a Burger King near it said on the Ohio River across from McKees Rocks one day, and a drunk driver took them out. I think I know exactly what Burger King that is. They were killed. And because the one son was not quite right, they had the older son, namely John Kasich, have control of the share of their estate that they gave to their other child, Rick. And that created trouble. And what also created trouble is that John Kasich sold their parents' McKeesport house, and the brother had wanted to live in it. Now, I don't know. It said Rick wanted to live in it. He was furious. He hired a lawyer to challenge the will and I guess he succeeded in that he got his share of the estate. And that's what he used to buy the house that they say is near Carnegie Mellon University, he and apparently a wife. And he's quoted in the New York Times, Kasich's brother, as saying, "My brother told me, if you sue me, I won't have anything to do with you." And he didn't. For 19 years, they did not speak. And it was only recently, I guess, that there is some conversation. Not much. All of this is to tell you what the last conversation was. Because I'll just read it. One of his most recent contacts with his brother, he recalled, was on Easter. The exchange seemed to typify a relationship that is not always easy. Here's Rick Kasich saying, he called and he said, "He has risen." And I said, "I know that." I mean, how odd is that? John Kasich calls his brother on Easter, and the brother answers, "Hello," and what he hears is Kasich saying, "He has risen." Maybe he said hello first, but that's not how it's reported. Is that odd? Creepy, if you ask me. And he says, this guy said he did Christianity, he got saved, and it's helped him and all that kind of stuff, but he clearly doesn't like his brother much. And this picture, it's just a riot. It looks exactly like Governor Kasich. Exactly. Celine just saw it right. I mean, is that not uncanny? Yeah. Yeah, that's a Yinzer. And he looks just like Kasich, only he's wearing, like, he has long hair down to here. And apparently always wears the sunglasses. And I just think it's weird that his brother would, come on. Whatever. Who knows? But I love that. I mean, at least the New York Times did some reporting that's interesting, something we hadn't seen before. And here again, I ask, why is it that so often you read something that is set right in your hometown that is of interest, but you're not reading it in the hometown paper? You're reading it in some out-of-town paper that found it interesting, and it always blows my mind that happens, that a local media get trumped. Damn it. He's ruined that word, hasn't he? Because you can't even say it anymore without immediately. It's a great word, trumped. What's a synonym for trumped? To trump, because I use that word, always have a lot, but every time I say it now, it comes with a bunch of baggage. I mean, right? Okay. Here's something I thought was an interesting quote. I shall read it to you. It's by a woman named Megan McCardle. And I think she's right, but it's just something to note. She writes, I'm wondering about an odd phenomenon I've noticed. The number of Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders supporters who seem to genuinely believe there is a silent majority of folks out there who agree with them. The internet creates a sense of universality. It's easy to think your bubble is more representative than it actually is. Facebook curates our feeds so we get more of the stuff we like. What do we like? People and posts that agree with us. It's a sort of mass delusion. People aren't just angry, they're also out of touch with the possibility that other people are not angry, or at least not angry in the same way, or at the same people. The result is political chaos. Well, I don't know about the last line, but I think she's really right, and we all need to take it to heart that, it's so easy to see when somebody else is living in a bubble. It's much more difficult to acknowledge that you are only reading things that you agree with, or people that you agree with. Come on. I'm pretty much there. And that did not used to be the case, because you couldn't do it. You couldn't create bubbles like that very easily. And with the sense that everybody else agreed with you too. So I know that's not good, and I think Megan is on to something there. Okie doke. Now, apparently I think it's interesting. So yesterday the big news was Cruz and Kasich, getting together and deciding not to get in each other's way so that they can take between them more votes, delegates, away from Trump, thus denying him a first ballot victory. By the way, the odds are still strong that he will get the first ballot victory, just so as you know. No matter what the Cruz camp or the Kasich camp are saying. the numbers crunchers looking at it, Trump's got a pretty, you'd rather be him, got a pretty good path. So this Trump has called the Cruz-Kasich Pact, a desperate maneuver, and it is, without a doubt. Whether it's successful or not, who knows? But I've thought it was really smart how Trump has played it, because it fits. And here Cruz and Kasich, have maybe just bumbled right in to helping Trump finish them off. Because the questions that both Kasich and Cruz were asked yesterday by reporters is, hey, isn't this thing you're doing together, isn't that like, now why am I blanking on the legal term? Collusion? It's not collusion, but it's like collusion. Isn't it? Isn't it, if it were businesses, it would be illegal? You're getting together and determining something that's supposed to be open. We've got a call. Hello?
Hey, Lynn, it's Mike from D.C.
Hey, Mike.
So I live in a bubble, too, but I have some friends who are Republicans. And I was brave enough to say to a friend of mine I saw yesterday, who are you going to vote for if Trump is the nominee? Because she had previously said that she hates Trump. And she said, well, it'll be really hard, but I'll hold my nose
and vote for Trump.
Hillary.
Oh, really? Hillary? I thought.
Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm just curious, what don't you like about Hillary? And you'll never believe what she said. She said she didn't divorce that bastard when he cheated on her.
Oh, for Christ's sake. Excuse me.
We're going that far back into history. I thought she was going to say Benghazi. I thought she was going to say email.
What business is of it? What is that? That's between her and her husband.
That's what I said.
If every woman divorced the husband who was cheating on her, you wouldn't have any marriages left. Jesus, almost. What kind of self-righteous bull crap is that? Is that something? I don't believe it.
And it gets
I don't
back
believe
to my
it.
point that Hillary gets blamed for things
she didn't
that
do.
everybody else does without impunity.
I know. She is. There was a quote in in the local paper here by some woman who was at the Sanders rally yesterday. And she's 34 years old, and she was asked, what if Sanders isn't going to be the nominee? And she said, I would never vote for Hillary. Never vote for Hillary. And then she just goes into the robotic because I cannot trust her. Where has that come from exactly? Generally people say you can't trust any politician. How come that with her is a bigger deal?
And not with Trump. I said to my friend, wait a second, so it's okay for Trump to cheat on his 3 wives and leave his wife with kids to go for some chorus girl, but Hillary's going to be held to a standard, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It really is something, isn't it? And now you see it's a little peek at what women encounter when they try to break into a place they've not been allowed to be. And a lot of people just feel uncomfortable with them being there. You can see it. Isn't that something? Have you voted?
No, I'm in D.C. I'm in Virginia, and I voted for Hillary a long time ago.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You're right. Okay.
So, there's a saying in the gay world that our worst enemies are closeted people.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're trying to, fix their sins on other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if it's the same thing for women.
Mm-hmm.
The worst women for society are
other
misogynists themselves.
You know what? I remember that reality was a very difficult thing for me to acknowledge and accept. But I assumed, as a young woman breaking into a man's workforce in television, that women would support each other. And man, they did not. Then when I got my first female boss, which took some doing, that was decades, I thought, all right, now I got some. And she was more of a male boss than any male I'd ever seen, because she needed to prove herself to the guys who had put her there. Women don't help other women a lot. There are women who do, of course, but boy, oh boy. And I think in some ways, we were all breaking in and fighting for the few little spots that seemed to be, allowed for us. We were all affirmative action hires and, tokens. And so another woman was a threat.
It's that slice of pie thinking of life.
Yep.
That we get a slice, and all the minorities are going to fight over that slice.
That's right.
While the man, in quotation marks, gets the rest of the pie.
Right, which is what the people in power have known for years. You divide.
That's what they do.
You divide and conquer. You put them at each other's. You put them at each. You put them on each other so that working people, decry some other poor working slob getting an increase in wages, because somehow they feel that then that takes away that they then are diminished. It is human nature.
And I say that's the difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. The Republicans say, when somebody gets something good, hey, wait a second, that's not fair. Why is he getting that? I'm not. And we say, wait, he's getting it. Why shouldn't we all get this?
That's right. Right.
And it's that theory of let's make the person with the one piece of pie, the groups would get one piece of pie, fight over it.
Yeah.
So I try to break out of my bubble, but people just say things that you think, God, is that you really saying that?
We really, we're living in different bubbles. We're living in different bubbles. They have the same reaction to us. They do, don't you think?
Yeah.
We can't go that far. See, we can't quite deal with that reality. They don't know. They don't understand our heads at all. Huh. Well, we know we're right.
Amen to that.
All right. Goodbye.
Have a good
Bye,
day.
Mike.
Go vote.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not to worry. Bye.
Okay,
Bye. I have an email here from who this? Marge. I listen every day, not always live, but I never miss a program. Well, thank you. I'm a 58-year-old soccer mom / grandma who was with Hillary before Obama. I did not think he was ready at the time, and I might have been right, but I was one of her voters that switched to support him. There was no doubt about it. I hear what Bernie says and agree with a lot of what he stands for, but he will not win the general election. He's not going to win the nomination. My kids are voting for Bernie, and that's okay, because at least they're involved. I believe that with Hillary and Bill, they will get in there and start day one with making anything, move in Congress. I don't know how they can make it move in Congress. Is she the perfect candidate? No. Is she the right woman for the job? I think so. It was you, Lynn, who first woke me up some 30 years ago, good God, to pay attention to what is going on around us. So when I hear that you are not voting for Hillary to send a message, I think she got the message that she's not loved by all. I'm glad Bernie ran because I did not want the nomination to be a coronation, and I think it made her work for it. Today was my first vote for a woman to be president, and I'm happy to support her. I also voted Katie McGinty. This could be the year of the woman. Let's do this and get these old men out of our bodies. Then again, anyone but Trump. And that is from my biggest fan, Marge, in Scott Township. Thanks, Marge. Thank you so much. Yeah, I still don't know what to do. Hillary's going to win Pennsylvania, apparently by a lot. So I was thinking, so what's the big deal if I vote for Bernie? On the other hand, I was saying yesterday, I think Bernie needs to start backing away, and he doesn't seem to be doing that. And maybe the message I need to send now is to Bernie, not to Hillary. Which is, Bernie, come on, baby. Come on, you sweetie. Out you go. Come on. You've done a great job. Great job! But you can't take it over the goal line, to use the football metaphors we love for. You just can't. You ain't going to get it there. So give it to her, because she's got a pretty good shot. And we are forgetting, and I'm forgetting what Marge says. I have never voted for a woman to be the President of the United States. Wow. That really is big. It's huge. It's huge. Okay. Well, your vote is your vote. And far be it for me to tell anybody how to vote when I still don't even quite know what I'm going to do. I will definitely be voting for Hillary Clinton in November. There is no doubt whatsoever about that. And what Democrats have to do is to talk some sense into the heads of all these, like the 34-year-old woman quoted in the paper today saying, who's a Sanders supporter, who said she would never vote for Clinton. Well, who the hell is she going to vote for? And then Mike tells us that a voter won't vote for her because she didn't divorce Bill Clinton. What kind of a thing is that to base your vote on? You're voting for a executive job to run a country. What? Beyond belief. And you don't have to like the person. This bull about, I'd like to have a beer with them. Nobody used to think that way. You didn't give a damn whether they had a good personality or anything. You voted for them based on their policies and their abilities. And their party, often. Because of what that means. Oh, well. Okay. May I just say, I'm just going to get my, because it's my show and I can do it. I'm going to get my little 2 cents in about the 2 other races. I don't know how you guys are voting on the Attorney General of the state of Pennsylvania, which you'll also be voting on today, and the Senate candidate, Democratic candidate to take on Toomey. Katie McGinty is endorsed by the Democratic establishment, including the president, and every Democratic politician. Joe Sestak is, they break out in hives, the established Democrats. He's an odd duck. There's no doubt about it, but a harder worker you'd never want, and a man of you'd never find, and a man of integrity. And then Fetterman, who does not have a proverbial snowball's chance in hell, and who, while very compelling, is probably taking votes away from Joe Sestak. I'm basing my vote and endorsement on what I know of these 3, and also from the debate I did see that they engaged in on Channel 4 television. And McGinty turned me off. I'm sorry, she turned me off. Way too... zero charisma, okay? Zero. And then, she's, you can tell, she's probably very capable, this and that, but there's no anything, which you do get from the two guys, Fetterman and Sestak. You get a sense of passion. And if McGinty has passion, man, she's sure covering it up really well. And it seemed very rehearsed, very robotic, very, the very thing that's driving all of us crazy. So if this is the year of the outsider, you got two possible outsiders to vote for on the Democratic side, Fetterman and Sestak. Fetterman has no chance whatsoever of winning the primary nor of unseating Toomey. Sestak does in both cases. And I'm going to be voting for Joe Sestak. And then the Attorney General, all the pals have pretty much sided with this Shapiro from the eastern part of the state. God, I got robocalls from Cyril Wecht yapping on and on and on about why I should vote for John Shapiro. And I'm thinking, Cyril, be quiet. I couldn't even turn it off. I kept trying to dump it went onto my answering machine. I was trying to watch a television and I couldn't get the volume down. I thought, this is a good way to cost a candidate a vote, right? If you're annoying people when they're trying to do something. Anyway. I think Zappal is an okay guy, myself. And I think Shapiro, from what I see, is... Because I did watch a debate with him. I didn't like him either. I didn't like him. I think Zappal is an above-the-board guy. I do. So I'll be voting for him. And unless Pittsburgh votes overwhelmingly for him, because Philly will be voting for Shapiro. It'll be Shapiro. And for some reason, he just looks like a guy who's in the establishment and on his way up, and this is just the next rung he wants to step on because governor wasn't available or he's not quite ready for senator. And I'm sick of those people. I'm sick of them. I'm part of, it's contagious to sort of get these bums out of here. Not all of them, be somewhat, but I can't do the sort of professional, robotic, ambitious, and I don't like the party. I think a kiss of death right now for a candidate might be getting a party endorsement. Because people have had it up to here with that control. With a party trying to control them. The Democratic Party is controlling this all over the place. With the superdelegate stuff, all that stuff. So don't let them decide who your candidate is. Figure it out yourself. Gigi says, I'm voting for Hillary. For several reasons, it does not escape me that I have the opportunity to vote for a qualified candidate who happens to be a female. I never thought I would get to do this. I'm excited to vote today. I drove past the polling places earlier and it was packed with what I assume are Trump and Cruz supporters since I see their signs in the yards near me. My Bernie and Hillary sign, oh, that's great, are on an island in this township. Are an island in this township. So you got two, you got a Bernie and a Hillary. What a nice thing. My son wants to vote for Bernie, but he does not turn 18 until October. Enjoy Election Day. Okay. So I was with some friends yesterday at dinner, and the gentleman friend was bemoaning the fact that he had been all last week doing cleanses. And Celine is right.
That's so mean. I'm sorry to laugh.
Well, I think it's stupid too. And he said he was doing it because he knew he was going to his sister's for Passover, and he knew he was going to be eating all this stuff, and he wanted to clear himself. I thought, what kind of cleanses?
Captured my
Well, I don't know. I didn't ask. I'm so not interested. What? I don't know. I'm just saying. But he's always a first adopter of any health thing that comes down the pike. So, he's had, I don't know what. I mean, if it's something you read about that sounds crazy, he's done it. He falls for every one of them. So anyway, the science section of the New York Times today, I'll have to send it to him. It says that there is such a misconception of the fact that we need to detoxify our bodies. Here's a doctor. He's a gastroenterologist. He says, when I ask a patient what they are trying to get rid of when they do this, they are never really sure. They say toxins, right? Toxins. Oh, you get a massage. They say, make sure you drink lots of water. We've set free all these toxins in your body, and you got to flush them out. But here's the thing. The human body he's extremely well engineered to get rid of toxins. It's built that way. Anyway, so the end of this is, so what's with all the cleansing people are doing? The doctor says, to be a bit cynical, there's money to be made. That's it. Save your money. Leave it alone. Your body is created. And I wouldn't want to get into the stuff about stool that they tell you, but I guess I will. Because here's what they say. Some people think you want to be just your pipes cleaned. He says this, colon cleanses, like juice cleanses, are supposed to push toxins out of the body. But what are toxins? Stool is actually beneficial to the lining of the colon. I mean, increasingly, doctors are even transplanting poop from some healthier person into a relatively unhealthy person. Poop is good.
Just eat a balanced diet, guys. It's not that hard.
So just stop it. Leave your body alone. Will you just leave it alone? Feed it nice food. Exercise a little bit. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. And speaking of our bodies, have you seen this stuff where they still don't know what to do with menstruating women in space? Well, stop and think about it. Because more than 50 women have been up there. And we don't know how many had their periods during the trip, but some did. Most, knowing they were going up, decided to knock off their periods for a while, which is something that didn't used to even be a possibility, but now with birth control, you can. Just keep taking the pills. But it's unclear. They say there's got to be more studies done with women and menstrual cycles and what long-term space travel would do. So they said also you don't want your period in space. If only because changing a tampon is a bitch. You just think about that, huh? Yeah. What else I got here? Okay. And God, there was so much crap in the science section today. Circumcision axiom debunked. They've done studies. Do you know that there is a huge movement of men who say circumcision has destroyed their sexual pleasure? You do know that, right? It's bullshit. I mean, they've done study. Okay, here's another study. Canadian researchers, they did, I will not talk about the study to you because it gets very graphic about how they did the study. I mean, seriously graphic, what they did with the penises that they had have in the study and the people attached to them. And there is zero difference Neonatal circumcision does not make the penis less sensitive. We can conclude that there are no significant differences in sensitivity between the circumcised and uncircumcised groups. It was that cut and dried. All right. And then while we're in the area, there's this story. It's called A Baffling Trend in Surgery, and it's about teenage girls having surgery, cosmetic surgery on their genitals. Labiaplasty. See, Celine knows immediately what it is. It's all of a sudden, what's happening? This is so. The majority of young women now do not tolerate pubic hair. It is gone. Gone. As a matter of fact, the percentage blew me away. Let me find it here. I couldn't even believe it when I saw it. Where was it? It was like 70. Yeah, it's 70%. A 2012 study, more than 70% of girls and women ages 12 to 20 said they routinely shave or wax their pubic area. That means almost 3/4 of young women up to 20 do not look like women have looked for millennia. And I've actually talked to my gynecologist about it because she sees it. I mean, she sees this. All these young women come in and they don't have pubic hair. And again, it's sort of like the cleanses. She says, what do they think? That pubic hair is there for no reason? It's like nasal hair. It's like it is a barrier that's there for a reason. All right, fine. But they don't find it attractive. I don't find it very attractive either. It's how we're made. Okay, so they're taking this pubic hair out, and then they see what their body looks like, and they don't like it. Men don't like it?
It's all like not
What?
enough.
Well, now wait. So listen. I don't fine. If men don't like it, I was going to say fuck them, but that's what they want. Don't fuck them. Okay? What does that have to do with them? Screw them. I got it. No, don't. Screw them. What? I mean, first of all, I just want to say this. The fact that young girls now are shaving or waxing their pubic hair means that they look like children there. Right? There's a difference between what the genital area in a woman looks like as opposed to a girl. And what they are doing is saying, I don't want to look like a woman. I want to look like a girl. Now, you tell me how that doesn't feed sort of pedophilia, too. There's pedophilia kind of aspect to it because a woman with a shaved or waxed pubic area looks like a child there. And in some ways, stop and think of like a 5-year-old girl and their genital area and put pubic hair on it. That's grotesque, right? Imagine a 5-year-old girl with pubic hair, okay? That's grotesque. Now, switch it around. A 15-year-old girl with no pubic hair. That is also grotesque. It's not what is. Jesus. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, that was my former name. I go.
Yeah,
by
I know, but what the hell do you have to say about this?
Let me tell you guys a little something about men. You know, I was when I called, it was after your producer said men don't like it. I was like, huh? men don't give a crap.
That's right.
Like, men don't
Thank
like
you.
it.
It sounds like my friend. I remember once saying, I just couldn't get naked around a guy right now because I'm just not, I'm not this, that. And she said, are you out of your mind? Men don't give a damn.
It's like, when I heard that, I was in there feeling for, the young women feeling pressured and all this kind of good stuff.
Right.
But when, I don't know why, but when she said men don't like, I'm like, men don't care.
Right, they don't.
Are either of you sleeping with men under 30?
Oh, hey, wait. Celine has a rejoinder.
Okay.
She says, are either of us, she said either, but I say either, are either of us sleeping with men under 30?
There you go. She has a good point there.
So what's with these men under 30? They don't like pubic hair.
No. Here's what's going on with the men under 30. They're trying to maintain some kind of power over those young women who are getting better educated, better jobs. Well, I don't like your thing. Because if women stop doing it, I guarantee you they change their minds real quick. Guarantee it. Unless they're,
But
gay
these
or
young,
something.
but these young girls are insecure. So
They're insecure about it. Yeah,
Right.
And even I think let's wait till the younger ones come up who have even more power and more control. and they say, "Well, I don't like that." The guy says, "Well, I don't really like that." And they say, "Okay, goodbye. And by the way, I'm taking my check in my house with me. I live on the street."
are men? So men? Wait a minute. Are these young guys shaving their pubic hair?
I'm not a young guy. I don't know what. There are young guys are really starting. Well, you see the hipsters walking around.
They don't like hair in general.
Well, except all over their faces.
Yes.
But my point is that they're really fashion conscious. You know what I mean? Looks and appearance and all that kind of good stuff.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's trying to be stylish.
Yeah, it's really important.
Men have always been like that, but it's going to a new level. Mm-hmm. Of being concerned about their looks and their appearance and all that kind of good stuff. And they might be. It's not shaving. Can you imagine? There's a place where you can go if you're a guy and get your pubes shaped into a shape.
Or you mean you can?
We call these the elephant ears. Notice how this is the fireman.
I'm so out of it. I remember the first time I was at a spa. I was getting a massage, and in the next room, I literally heard a scream, and I said, God, what the hell's going on in there? And the masseuse said, just waxing. I said, waxing? What's that? And they explained that women were waxing their... And I was so stunned by that.
Mm-hmm.
I
can't imagine. You know what I mean? I can't imagine. Because, if you, like, pluck out an eyebrow...
I know, no.
You tear up.
Yeah, but I know. And it's so sensitive. Are you kidding me? Oh, dear. Oh,
wow.
God.
I call these...
Why not just trim the pubic hair? Why not make little bobs or afros or, little...
Yeah, you just make little shapes down here.
Yeah, right, exactly.
A little shape, that's interesting, all that kind of good stuff. But, believe me, for goodness sake, I won't even get my ears pierced. I do no body, changes and all that.
Good for you.
But... it is what it is.
Jesus.
It'll change.
It'll go back because this is
else.
nuts. It is nuts.
But, my point is, and if you ask any guy...
I'll tell you what it's about.
What it's about?
They're all into oral sex all the time, and they don't want, pubic hair, which makes it a messier to do. That's all it is.
So what about that beard, though?
Yeah, what about that beard? God.
I'm really uncomfortable talking about it. I got to make this joke, though. But that beard, that mustache can be tickly.
You have never kissed guys with beards, right?
I'm not talking about kissing.
Well, I'm telling... Oh, yeah, you're not. I'm sorry. We're someplace else. Well, yeah, right. Jeez, I might add to it. I don't know.
I don't know either. I was uncomfortable making that joke, but the joke had to be said.
Okay, and I didn't even get it because I am so out of it. It's beyond belief.
Yeah, I'm out of it too.
Okay.
Whatever.
We're okay. Goodbye.
Go Hillary.
Yeah. Okay. Bye. Jesus. Yeah. So all these girls are going in to get their labia minorized, made more minor, huh? Anyway, all the docs and everybody has said this is so not medically indicated, and it is not even safe or effective. There could be What the hell? So anyway, this one gynecologist says when every girl is freaking out about the way she looks, she says she recommends young women look at unretouched photographs of vulvas, like those in the book. I'm going to give you a book to read. The book is termed Petals. Everybody's looking it up now? Petals. Unretouched vulvae. So anyway, the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists have issued guidance, whatever, and they're saying that docs should not be doing this for these kids. Not. Vaginal rejuvenation surgery, which is really for women who are old or who have had a lot of children and their muscles are shot down there and they're trying to get them tightened up again. God, people are stark raving nuts. People are nuts. Celine is now, we've lost Celine. She's looking at vulva. She's looking at Petals. There's actually a website?
Oh, yeah.
Petals.com?
NickKarras.com.
Okay. Well, it's better than talking about Donald Trump. Oh, I want to note the passing of, and surely there'll be a big obit tomorrow, PG. Surely, because it barely gets a mention here. I was so saddened to see Audrey Roth has passed away. She's a neighbor. She was 93 years old. Beautiful woman. And buried in her rather, short little bio is that it says after attending Carnegie Mellon School of Drama, her career included Broadway, the Pittsburgh Playhouse, and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. But anyone seeing Audrey Roth's face will know her very much from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. She was one of the all-time cast members, and I'm always blanking on the funny name she had, Mrs. I want to say Prolificate. What is the name? Come on, somebody help me here, because I didn't watch. Fred was a friend of mine, but I didn't watch the show. As a kid, and even my kid didn't watch the show much. But Prolificate, she was a elegant woman who was on Mr. Rogers' show and was a dear friend of Fred's. And I know often when Fred would show up at my door, he was in the neighborhood because he'd gone to see Audrey. And he's just a lovely, lovely, elegant, bright woman. It says here she was an accomplished artist, a voracious reader, and a generous and loving friend. And it says they want contributions made to the food bank or a democratic cause of one's choice. Audrey. R.I.P. Elegant, beautiful, wondrous woman. But if that's not a big obit tomorrow, I don't know what should be. Come on, guys. Stunned. Chuck writes, Lynn, I'm a little behind listening today, so if you covered this, I apologize. If people don't know, when you get to the polls today, you will vote for your favorite candidate, but you're also going to vote for unbound delegates. On the Republican side, there are 71 delegates at stake, but 54 of them are unbound. Prometheus. And when you vote, they don't tell you which way the delegate is leaning. So there's just a bunch of names of people you've never even heard. So you may end up voting for unbound delegates who do not support your candidate if you aren't careful. Unbound delegates and superdelegates have taken the power away from the people. Absolutely true. So, if you're, I think, so where do we find out? I mean, I think the paper yesterday had a list, but, and I listened to, there was a young woman who had voted in someplace around here and had called into KDKA because she had gone into the voting booth with a list of delegates that she had researched and knew were voting for her candidate, who happened to be Trump. And the guy at the polls told her she couldn't have it. He said, you can't take that in. And he made her put it in her purse and zip it. And then she didn't know what the names were, so she sort of... And I got to tell you, that is totally... I mean, that woman was deprived of her... I mean, that's outrageous. You're allowed to take in a... I mean, unbelievable, yes. This is the kind of crap that goes on when people are trying to vote. Because there's a lot of ignorant and officious nitwits manning the polls. Seriously. All right. Well, I think that's it. Man, we've been all over the place today, haven't we? Vote! And don't shave your pubic hair. Not necessarily in that order, but that's my advice. Goodbye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.